You're watching CNN News Center. Coming up next, the kidnapping of some 200 girls in Nigeria is causing an uproar in the country, around the world, and now online. We'll have more on this after the break. Welcome back. Just days away from the World Economic Forum meeting in Nigeria, the government is investigating a deadly bombing. A spokesman says 18 people died in last night's blast at a bus terminal in Abuja. More than 60 others were wounded. Most of the victims were apparently laborers on their way home from the May Day holiday. The explosion was just 100 meters from an April 14th bombing that killed 71 people. The Islamic militant group Boko Haram claimed responsibility for that bomb. So far, there's been no claim of responsibility for last night's explosion. Gender-driven growth in Africa is among the topics at the World Economic Forum, and Nigeria is struggling with the treatment of women in its society. The mass abduction of schoolgirls, widely blamed on Boko Haram, is gaining traction on social media. The hashtag #BringBackOurGirls is trending on Twitter and Facebook, and a number of celebrities have joined the movement to demand the government do something about the girls. Rallies over the mass kidnapping have taken place in cities across Nigeria, with protesters demanding the government, quote, "bring back our girls." Vladimir Duthiers reports from Lagos.
Nigerians take to the streets in anger. They're demanding the government do more to rescue about 200 girls who were abducted from their school more than 2 weeks ago.
I'm a young mother, so I can't imagine any mother going through this. It's disheartening, it's shocking that our government hasn't even made any official statements. Everybody's saying one thing or the other, but they are not true. We need to hear the truth.
It started on April 14th at the all-girls secondary school in the village of Chibok in Borno State. Armed men, believed to be members of the Islamist group Boko Haram, dragged the girls out of bed in the dead of night, loading them onto trucks and disappearing into a remote area near the border with Cameroon. Luckily, dozens of students were able to escape, including Amina Shawak.
We thought they were soldiers, and they asked us to board a vehicle which was headed towards Zamboa. And my friends and I jumped from the vehicle and ran back home because we realized they don't look innocent to us.
The Borno State Education Commissioner says the government is doing everything it can and is withholding information for safety reasons. But the families want answers. Rallies have been staged around the country. Their banners read, "Bring back our girls," the hashtag that started the social media campaign leading to the protests. The organizer of the rally in Abuja says Nigerians are losing faith in their government.
We are so frustrated at the fact that 234 children could get missing, and there's actually no coherent explanation as to exactly the search and rescue operation that's going on concerning them.
Locals tell us they've seen young girls in vehicles with armed men, but as they tried to chase those trucks, they were threatened that they'd be shot if they got any closer. And there are reports that girls may have been taken out of the country or that they were sold, but those reports have not been verified. Vladimir Duthiers, CNN, Lagos.
And joining me here in the studio is Toyin Olacampo. She's a children's rights advocate who has worked with the Lagos state government as a consultant in early childhood education, and also the Millennium Development Goals, an activist, also a lawyer. Tell us what you think of why is the Nigerian government so helpless? It's been more than 2 weeks, more than 200 girls abducted.
I mean, I would like to think that we don't have an insensitive government. I believe that we need help, we need international help. And we as Nigerians are very proud people. We will not go ahead and say, hey, we need help. So I applaud the steps of Gordon Brown, the former Prime Minister of the UK, who is taking that step to say, what can we do to help Nigeria? We can say that the international support hasn't been there. It's only in the last couple of days that we've just seen this huge rise of support. But I think that is the problem. We cannot solve this on our own, and I don't think it's about criticizing our government. I think it's about supporting and helping them.
The U.S. is also saying that it wants to support Nigeria, but what can they do? What does Nigeria do right now and need?
Well, Nigeria is a sovereign state. Nobody can impose on them what to do. And I think the first step important that those in high levels of government abroad and internationally seek to have a dialogue.
You mean negotiations with Boko Haram?
No.
Believed to have abducted the girls?
No, I think behind closed doors, I think, as I said, Gordon Brown is meeting with our president next week in Lagos. Behind closed doors, they will have the conversation that they need. Because as the public, we are not privy to a lot of things. So we don't know what's really going on. But I believe if we have the international support of the UK and the US government, and they meet with our president behind closed doors to actually discuss how sensitive and how serious this matter is for our country, I think we will have some results coming out of that dialogue.
But isn't that a criticism of the Nigerian government that basically people don't know what's going on? The parents are in agony. Their girls have been abducted for more than 2 weeks, and they don't even know what's being done. They're being told, we're not telling you specifically what we're doing for security reasons.
I'm a mother myself, and I sympathize. In fact, the whole situation is horrific. I really don't know what to say. I think the government, I would like to believe that the government is not being sensitive, and I cannot imagine that they have ignored what has been going on with the protest, the social media, and I would like to believe that they are working to do something.
What can people do? This has sparked an online campaign, Bring Back Our Girls is the hashtag. What can people do to push for help?
Well, for starters, next week Nigeria will be hosting the World Economic Forum. And as I said, my foundation works with corporations. We're focusing on CSR and children's rights. And I would like to ask every single CEO who will be attending the World Economic Forum next week, what are your social responsibilities towards the youth in Nigeria? The theme for WEF next week is youth development. So
World Economic Forum.
Yes, correct. So I would like each CEO attending the World Economic Forum next week to ask themselves, what is their social responsibility? Is it right for me to be attending a forum on youth development when the youth of this particular country, Nigeria, are not being protected?
Absolutely. And it's not just girls. 30 boys were killed as they were sleeping
59, I believe. Yes,
in their dormitory just a few months ago.
Yeah.
This is a terrorist group which is suspected of being behind this, which wants to stop children in Nigeria from getting an education. What is it like for parents in Nigeria and for children who just want to be protected as they sleep in their dorms?
I think the adjectives that I would use to describe the feelings of our country would be sadness, frustration, anger, fear, insecurity. It's a very, very delicate time for us right now, and holding the World Economic Forum next week without addressing how we are feeling as a people is extremely insensitive. We just had a bomb blast last night, and to think that a week later they'll be drinking champagne cocktails just down the road. Again, I ask each CEO who's attending the World Economic Forum to ask themselves, is this socially responsible of me, my actions, my company? And that's really all I have to say.
That's a good question. I hope you keep asking it. I was speaking to Toyin Olocampo, a children's rights advocate, also a lawyer, a Nigerian, very much concerned and trying to do something about children's well-being in her country. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
And join us next week as we bring you the latest updates on the missing girls. Aisha Sese is in Nigeria. We will have live reports in several of our broadcasts, and she will anchor special editions of CNN News Center from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. That's at 19:30 in London and Abuja, right here on CNN. You want to join her for that? CNN News Center continues after this short break.